Check 1 2, hello. Level check, level check. What's up, cool kids? How's everybody doing? Got things all set up. We're gonna start it off 7 minutes. We have a good satellite pass coming up. So we about to have some fun right off the bat here. Been working all week getting this thing hooked up to the computer properly, getting the computer hooked up to the tracker properly. Yeah, so we're in pretty good shape. Ballpark my starting position for the XW2C satellite, which will be up in 6 minutes. Whoop. Go ahead and bring the radio audio up. All right. And then get this thing tracking. Started off with the characteristic beverage crack. Drying out a bit today. Just a can of pamplemousse. Yeah, there we go. I got up at 5 a.m. today. Yeah, pamplemousse. It's the best LaCroix. I hate everything grapefruit except for this. I will drink cases and cases of this. And I tried the grapefruit bubbly water, took one sip and threw the whole case out. Pamplemousse! Oh yeah, happy 420. I'll probably go for a couple hours and then crash the fuck out. Because, like I said, I got up at 5 a.m. today. Got some good radio operating in all day long, actually. Ran Meteor Scatter for about an hour and a half this early morning. And then worked a bunch of satellites later on in the morning. So yeah, things are looking good. Man, you can really hear my air conditioner, which is running now, when the noise gate's open. It's okay. We'll start out tuning into the beacon, I guess. As soon as we hear that, it's party time. Beautiful weather in Denver today. Overcast, like 65, 70 degrees, something like that. Good shit. This one that's going over to the west here, AO7. Fascinating satellite. Was launched in 74. It was in 1974. And it worked for about 5 or 6 years. And this is the one where the battery pack shorted. And it died in like 81. Or something like that. Maybe like, yeah, first half of the 80s. And they just wrote it off. It was like, oh well, it was good for a few years. And then in the early 2000s, somebody was just spinning around the satellite bands and they heard a really weak beacon. And they're like, I don't recognize that. And they did some math and figured out from the last known orbit of AO7 if that was it. And it sure was. And what they figured out is that over the, like, 25 or 30 years that it was dead, the solar panels slowly reconditioned the battery pack and cleared out the shorts. And it was built so well that as soon as it got power back and the, plus line wasn't 0 volts because the battery was shorted, it came back to life and started working. And it's been going for like 15 more years. Testament to good engineering. Starting the track now. Good. Frequencies being fiddled with on the radio, as you can see. Doing the customary camera tweaks. Oh yeah, you can tell it's so much quieter when the AC cuts off. Oops. There we go. Had to turn the preamp on. Alright, here we go. You start to hear that beacon at only 0.7 degrees above the horizon. Very nice. Wait another minute for it to get a little bit louder, and then we'll see if anybody else is actually on it. That's the good stuff. Alright. It's loud enough for my taste. Let's go to the transponder and see what we can see. Check 1, 2. Not quite yet. This is over the tire shop next door, so I might have high noise. Oh, I see somebody. Actually, I should see if I can hear myself. KC4YLV. Not quite yet. What is this? XW2C. And that is in 145.805. Oh, dark. A lot of atmospheric noise. Storm's not too far away. I need to fix this. $55, $160, yeah. This is a list of all the uplink and downlink frequencies. I think I need to quit and restart, which is okay. Kilo Charlie 4 Yankee Lima Victor. Kilo Charlie 4 Yankee Lima Victor. Not getting very good reception on this one. May have to go for the next pass, which XW2F. Let's see what that is. Oh, that's actually overhead right now. Kilo Charlie 4 Yankee Lima Victor. Boo. Yeah, I hear all the noise. The beacon's normally a little bit hotter here. Yep, DK is absolutely right. Lucas, I don't know if he had a ham radio buddy or something like that, but yeah, also THX, his short film that had a bunch of like HF noises too. Good to see everybody. Hi Graf, hi Decay, hi Roosevelt's. Rooseveltsa. Found this in a thrift store. The frequency is basically like a triangle wave, right? It goes down and then we correct up and go down, correct up. Keeps it pretty close. You can operate data modes with Doppler, which usually need pretty precise frequency correction. But this thing's tight enough that it'll do it. It's pretty badass. So let's see where XW2B is going to show up. That'll be a better pass. That's a little bit higher elevation. So I'll be able to shoot up over the tire shop, who is the bane of my freaking existence. Not only do they have like air compressors running like all the time, and like they have like leaky air tanks and then pressure sensors on there that kick the compressor on, and they keep them pressurized all night. They don't like purge them. So like just like once an hour or so, they'll kick on and like my noise level goes up like 10 dB, 15 dB, something like that, all night long. Sucks. Really wish they wouldn't do that. They probably think that all my freaking antennas like hanging not over their property, but you know, they're right in their face there over the fence. It's just as weird, so can't hate too hard. I'm gonna just fade this one out. We'll come back to the radio when there's another bird up here. About 11 minutes or so. But yeah, I've been working hard to get this set up. It auto tracks the rotator now. I still haven't finished the elevation switches on the controller. I just need to go in and like solder up 2 more switches and find some pins on the Arduino to like hook them up to. But I've got them just permanently stuck at like 10 degrees elevation or something. The screen shows -1, but it's a little off. I need to calibrate that. But yeah, it's working pretty well, and I should get full elevation control done this weekend. I'm off all next week, so I get tons of time for projects and catching up with stuff. And if I need to go to ham radio outlet for some random shit, I don't have to take off work because they close at 5:30. Which is nice. Oh God, why do you always pop on that monitor? Stop it. There you go. That's a lot better looking. THX 1138. I kept wanting to say THX 1488. No. I'm too internet poisoned. So yeah, little old 7300, old, 3 weeks older. Yeah, I got meteor scatter contacts from let's see, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, and outskirts of Kansas City this morning. It was kind of fun. I actually made a video, put it up on the YouTube channel. It was just about a half hour. But that was really fun. You can hear me all frog voice at 5 a.m. making a video. But yeah, these frequencies are off here from the like stated things because I've actually done tests on some of these satellites because they all like lose like probably between 0.5 and 5 kilohertz of like calibration, so they're not perfectly on frequency after launch, mainly because the temperature swings in space are so wild. It's really hard to keep a frequency stable. So I've had to go on each different satellite and actually listen to my voice and go, hello, hello, testing, until I was dead on frequency, so I don't sound all like, you know, weird Donald Duck voice. So I've got most of them dialed in pretty good that I've been able to hit. We might try for FO29 here in about 45 minutes. We'll see. We'll see what's up. I was looking at the classifieds. Everybody's selling their old VHF radios to try to fund 9700s. Just like fistfuls of radios that normally you see like one a month for sale. There's like 5 at a time now. Kind of funny. It's a big hit for sure. You got a little VX6R or something there? One of those fancy kitchen sink HTs. Ooh, those are badass. Yeah. Schrodinger's Cat 5 has one of those, and I'm kind of jealous. It's pretty dank. I've got a VX3R. It's my favorite HT of all time. Takes little camera batteries that you can buy like 3 for $10 on Amazon. AM/FM receive. Yeah, that's right. I remember y'all chatting about that back in the day. Yep. Really, really good rig. But yeah, my little VX3R, like, I don't care that it only does 1 watt. Like, it's so tiny, you know? I don't even know where it is right now. And I just unplugged my headphones. What a Saturday. Alright, there we go. Now I can hear myself and the radio again. So, let's see where we at. Negative 14.9 and rising. Right over Costa Rica right now. Nicaragua. No, the arrow is pointing at Nicaragua. Trying to learn all my countries. Like in transmit? I would not be surprised. I've had to spend a lot of energy grounding the station, getting everything. Oh, okay. So it's just picking up RFI from the USB cables. I gotcha. Yeah, I got ferrite clamp-on cores on everything here. Everything's grounded to hell and back, and I still have to improve that some. Like, I got a lot of RF bouncing around this place. Between the computers and all that. Yeah. Even if I'm not transmitting, there's still a lot of oscillators running in all these radios and shit. Alright, 5 minutes to go. See if there's a picture of what we're going to talk on. Yeah. Here's what these things look like. That is the actual unit. This is XW2E, but they're all identical. They launched 6. 5 are still alive. And this was some of the final tests of it. That's the actual XW2E satellite that they shot up there. It's called a 1U, 1-unit CubeSat, 10 by 10 by 10 centimeters. Some of them launch 3Us, which cost a lot more to launch, but you get 10 by 10 by 30 centimeters, and you can get a lot of power in there. Yeah, so the measuring tape is an actual thing that they do on just about every satellite now, because it has to fit in a certain like space that's just like 1 centimeter bigger on all sides than the actual satellite. So there's not much extra room. So all of these generally have tape measure antennas out there, and what they do is they roll them up, and then they use a resistor basically as a fuse. So they roll it up and they put a resistor through it and then solder the 2 legs to actual power lines. And when they launch it, they send a deploy signal. And what that does is it sends like 3 amps of current from the like pre-charged battery pack through that resistor. The resistor burns up and actually physically breaks, and then these spring pop out. Really, really low-tech solution to how to deploy an antenna. Yep. So that's it right there. It's a spring-loaded box. It just thunk. So you build your satellite to fit in there. It's ammunition for the launcher. And at the preset spot, when the launch vehicle is looking in the correct direction for your desired orbit, it just goes sproing and kicks that fucker out there. Because there's no air resistance, they can get pretty good initial velocity on them. Yeah, it's a spring with a catch on it that they can remotely release. That's it. That's why CubeSats, like, building and launching one only costs about $50,000 to $70,000. It sounds like a lot. That's so cheap. It's so incredibly cheap. I'm gonna start pre-spinning here. Yeah, like they've made some good advancements in how to very easily launch things. Yeah. And yeah, you see there's more tape. At these high frequencies, the fact that those tapes are steel and not copper doesn't matter. They're short enough that it's low resistance. Somebody's building one with a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, here's a quad launcher. Man, I want to pick that up in Quake. I love these little guys. Alright, 2B is coming up. I will turn the radio on. Yep. Dude, the ISS has a massive launch setup. They can launch like 4 at a time, like every 3 minutes. Like they have like rapid fire. It's like a fucking like a Nazi large gun battalion or something. They can just load them up on the backside and then pop them out. And they can launch like 60 CubeSats in an hour. Yeah, ISS is really popular for it because it's roughly the same orbital height that you want for these. So it's pretty easy to just fly like 20 or 30 CubeSats up to the ISS, you know, because you're hauling like, you know, 7,000 pounds of water and food and shit anyways. You know, put like 20 or 30 more pounds of CubeSats on, and then they can launch at the exact position, because the ISS is in an equatorial orbit, more or less. So it goes over the, like, it never crosses those poles, so it can wait for the exact moment for that right longitude, that time in its orbit, and then just shoot straight north, basically. It's good stuff. Yeah. Might have been a little bit after his time. No, he was up there fairly recently. I bet they were launching him back then. Alright, control is on. There it is, okay. Okay, they're at 743. Let's see here. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Okay. I'm on frequency here. And for BAF, here's Kilowatt Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor. That's Kilowatt Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor.
Okay, Kilowatt Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor, good afternoon, man. This is the N4BAF Echo Mike 84.
QSL, thank you very much. You're sounding great in Delta Mike 79 Denver. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay, yeah, you sound good. I'm located in Greenville, South Carolina.
Pretty good hop. Pretty good hop. Thanks for the contact. I got this one on tape too. 7-3 and have a good one. There you go. Talk to a bro in South Carolina. CQ satellite, Kilowatt Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor. CQ satellite, Kilowatt Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor. There have been a couple close calls. No documented ones with ham sats. I wish I could. Yeah, it's Hiles in the wrong hemisphere. Unfortunately, I can't see it. I should hop on a web SDR. I bet somebody's got one set up.
Let's see, Hoffman, you're minus 53. Beacon's running about minus 55-ish or so. Kind of an elevated noise floor with a bit of satellite pass band, so it's obviously in pretty good settle tonight. N0AN, KB7IJ.
This one is XW2B. This is one of a series of Chinese satellites.
I think my audio sounds exceptionally clear and very, very sharp. So I'm pretty fired up about the way it's working. And by the way, the pre-app came. You have the pre-app. Yes, the pre-app showed up. Next to my VSW with KB7IJ on the side. This is it.
He's kind of jumping around a little bit. Yeah, I know, right? Again, we're over the tire shop. So sad. 90 minutes, we'll have a very nice pass on the west side here. That'll work well. But nothing right now. Yeah, they're kind of dead. We did get one contact, though. Awesome. That makes me happy. Let's just see how the beacon's coming in. Yeah, it's already almost dead. Alright, fade it back down. Give my ears a break there, and yours. The satellite that is coming up next is FO-29. This was launched by the Japanese Space Agency. It's pretty old. It'll be here in about 37 minutes. It runs at a slightly higher orbit, I believe. Maybe? Let's see, 526. Or no, wait. I want G, not C. Yeah, FO-29 is 910 miles above the Earth right now. And, the XW satellites are like, 550. About. Yep. I believe FO-29 launched in 96. Yep. Not a CubeSat. That's what FO-29 looks like. Disco ball in space. Oh yeah, we've gone over number stations a couple times. They're fun. Unfortunately, we can't get any useful data out of number stations because it's generally accepted that they are encrypted with one-time pads. Yeah, the Digitalker's dead, I think, but the transponder still works, for sure. But yeah, number stations use encrypted messages that are like basically uncrackable. So they're fun to pick up and listen to, and if you know like what country they're coming from, they're like good propagation beacons. I'm kind of curious because they're starting to transmit bursts of data after the 2, 6, 5, 9, 1 stuff. Even if I can't get any useful info, I want to like figure out what the modulation is. Yeah, this was back when we still had a space race, and you can launch stuff like this relatively cheaply. Now stuff like that's super expensive, but the cost is going down. And one of the few times that I'll praise anything Musk related is that SpaceX is probably going to drop launch prices. Yeah. Russians run tons of weird shit. There's a couple, like, military radio teletype stations that just crank out encrypted text at, like, 45 baud, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Yeah. I'm tuned into, 11175 USB is where they send, authorization messages to all the strategic bombers that we constantly have in the air with nukes and shit, like flying around the coast of Japan, basically, so we can go blow up Russia if needed. They send them messages like several times a day on 11.175 megahertz, and you can pick them up. And it's freaky because they have to like look in their code book for the particular code and all that, and depending on what's going on, 99.9999999% of the time it's going to be, this is a test message, and then the last time they ever do it will be launch the nukes. Yeah, I saw that. It was really cool. Let's see if we can find a recent article. Since we have a little bit of downtime till the next bird. So like 28 minutes? 33, okay. So yeah. Oh, they don't have a picture of it, dicks. There it is. Yeah. You know that we have handbands close to there. Oh, dead hand? It's a Cold War era automatic nuclear weapons control system used by the Soviet Union. It's probably still there. And yeah, that's their even if Moscow is a smoking hole in the ground, this is their retaliatory strike stuff. Yep. An example of failed deadly and mutual assured destruction deterrence. Mm-hmm. Scary shit out there, yep. Right. There's a lot of interesting Cold War stuff. There's the Do line. AKA the reason that we defend Canada. You guys are the buffer zone, and we have a shitload of ICBM detection radars all the way from Greenland, because they're going to come over the poles, because that's the like Great Circle shortest path from Russia. All the way from Greenland, all the way across Canada, all the way on the northern coast of Alaska. These are all radars that look for ICBMs, so we have a few minutes warning while they blast through. But yeah, all these stations, just like this is huge, like Cold War like expense. Like these were manned stations, so they had to make them habitable. Later on, they started to automate some of them, but they just like ship in diesel and all this shit. A lot of the experiments on really small nuclear reactors were designed to power dew stations. Because that's, you know, a lot easier to manage than shipping in like tankers full of diesel every other month, especially when the shit gets frozen over in the winter. That's right, the Russians didn't isn't there like a nuclear exposure incident where like some peasants like raided or like salvaged shit from one of those old nuke powered radar stations? I swear they found, yeah. It'll be in here. I've read a lot about nuclear accidents. I know exactly what not to do. That's an accident. Civilian radiation accidents. It'll be here for sure. '50s. There was this one. Oh wow, there was multiple Cobalt 60 things. I know there was one that happened in Brazil. Yeah, huh? We were thinking the exact same thing, and they like took it home and like let their kids play with it and shit like that. Oh yeah, dude, elephant's foot. Yeah. One of these days, I'm gonna sit down and do the math on how much lead I would need to wrap around like a 1-inch cube of the elephant's foot to render it like safe-ish. Yeah. And then there was Therac 25. I think just about everybody that gets to like master's degree in EE learns this story. Bad code killed people. Holy shit, how about this one? 89. A small capsule containing cesium-137 was found inside the concrete wall of an apartment building in the Ukraine. It is believed that the capsule, originally contained in a measurement device, was lost sometime in the 70s and ended up mixed in with gravel used to construct that building. That is the most fucking Soviet thing ever. Holy cow. By the time it was discovered, 6 residents had died of leukemia and 17 more received varying doses of radiation. Wow. That's some dank shit. Yeah. Yeah, how's that for a house episode? Oh, remember David Hahn? Smoke detector kid? Did he die? Yep. Yeah, I think he ended up committing suicide. Mom says his death was accidental and due to intox from alcohol, diphenhydramine, and fentanyl. Yeah, he had a rough life. Yeah, there's pictures of him later on in his life, and ooh, he kind of super smart kid, but I think he kind of snapped a little bit. Or I mean, you know, it was just mental illness that we don't treat in this country. You know. There's Thailand. Oh, I'm trying to find that one that I'm thinking of. Yeah, I know. Which Dramamine means you don't puke, right? No. Okay, so that one with the concrete is the most Soviet nuclear accident ever, barring Chernobyl, obviously. This one is going to be the most Russian accident. Let's zoom in a bit here. Where'd you go? It's 2001. Yeah. Accidental overexposure of 3 lumberjacks occurred in a forest 50 miles 50 kilometers east of Leah, a village in Georgia. The event resulted from inadvertent use of 2 hot objects found as personal heaters, which were later found to be 2 strontium-90 cores from Soviet RTGs. Ah! I can't even. Yeah, SL1 was brutal. That was a metal ass accident. That was the first like real big incident, wasn't it? SL1 would be military. Yeah. Let's take a look at our countdown here. 25 minutes. Groovy. There we go. SL1. SL-1. Oh yeah, that's a spooky story. I know what you're talking about. What is the oh wow, they actually have a picture of it from back in the day. It's a good photo. So yeah, SL1, they pulled out a control rod too far because they were on like a gear motor that could like draw them in and out, and it was unhooked from that. They had to pull it out to screw it onto the end of the like threaded rod that spins and like makes it go in and out. But they pulled it out too far, went prompt critical instantly, 4 milliseconds. The core melted. Expanding fuel produced an extreme pressure wave because this shit was in a big tank of water, which blasted water upward. The slug of water was propelled at 160 feet per second, pressure of 500 psi. Yeah. Yep. Burns, the reactor operator, lifted the rod, caused the excursion. The shift supervisor was standing on top, and he is the guy that got impaled and stuck to the ceiling. Everybody died from physical trauma, but the radiation meant that they were just dead men walking anyways. Oof. Yeah. Oh, the wind scale fire was good too. So, yeah, this one was crazy. So this is the cross section of this. Yeah, I know, right? This is the cross section of this. Like this was like early on, so it was the UK experimenting with nuclear reactors, and how they fed this thing was that they had a bunch of holes and they pushed fuel rods through, and they blew air over it to cool. So they were air cooled, and then it would go up here in the filter. So these were basically uranium purification stuff, if I recall. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were converting to plutonium. So that's what it looked like. And then they had a water channel running across the side that had flowing water. So when the it's like a Pringles can of nuclear shit encased in like a steel thing. When it fell through the back wall, it would fall into that and then be swept down to like the waste room on the side or whatever. You can visualize this. And then, yeah, they tried to do a fix when it was running hot, and it did not work. And basically they had a runaway condition where it kept getting hotter in there, which kept meaning that the radioactive sources that had broken open, because like one of those cans broke, that was the like cause of this. And it just made it like even more like energy release and stuff. An inspection plug was taken out, and we saw, to our complete horror, 4 channels of fuel glowing bright cherry red. Folks, when your nuclear fuel is glowing blue, situation is normal. When it's glowing bright red, bad times await. Yeah, and then they tried to put the fire out, tried to swamp it with CO2. That'd be pretty rad. Surprised the Russians didn't try that, or the Soviets, technically. So yeah, I love nuclear accident chat. Terrifying things, terrifying things. But, yeah. You make antennas out of all sorts of weird shit. This is a fun one. The seawater antenna. It's just got a little water pump and a nozzle. And this is wired up so that the RF energy is sent to the body of water in there. Since it's all conductive, it just acts like a piece of metal, basically. Because seawater has such high conductivity. And what's cool is if you just change the water pressure on this, you change the height of the antenna. So you can have like a real-time tuned antenna. They were talking about putting these on Navy ships for their HF communications. But yeah, this is actually a ham that was playing with it. And he said that it worked really well, actually. You can do a tree antenna. And not the kind you're thinking of. There's a tree antenna. So this couples energy into the tree, which is not super conductive. Well, it's obviously not super conductive. It's not very conductive, but it's conductive enough with all the like water in it that it does work as an antenna. You just have to find a way to get the RF energy into it. And that's how. You just make a big coil wire and then feed that, and you have a tree antenna. Supposedly they work not too bad. Yeah, here's another guy that did the same thing. Just find a tree, do a coil around it, which makes a transformer basically, right? So this is your primary winding with a bunch of turns, and then the tree itself acts like a single turn coil right in the middle of that. That's a common way to make transformers, is you get the little toroid cores that look like a little donut. You wrap a bunch of small wire around the actual core, and then you just put a larger wire just like through the center of the core, and that makes a transformer. It's very useful in a lot of circuits. They're good down on HF, so down, 75, 40 meters, down on the shortwave bands. They work really well. Basically, however tall your tree is, it'll work best when that's about a quarter wavelength tall. So if you find a 33-foot tree, it'll be more or less good on 40 meters. If you find a 70-foot tree, it'll be good on, like 80 meters. So yeah. Definitely a good approach if you have literally no other options and you can't get a wire up the tree. I've got a slingshot and a fishing reel, so I can get her done, but yeah, quarter wavelength. Folded halo? Oh, those things. Yeah, they're good. I have one of these for 6 meters. A squalo. Because it's a square halo. See what they did there? But yeah, they use these a lot for like FM broadcast stuff. Nice. I have a smaller one like this for 2 meters too. I don't have it up right now. Yeah. That's my 6 meter omnidirectional antenna because it's horizontally polarized. So you can just put a vertical up, and it works well in all directions, but you are vertically polarized there. So you have to figure out a way to do horizontally polarized, but work roughly equally well in all directions. That's what those are for. The loop that I use for 2 meters and 70 centimeters for the horizontally polarized Omni is this. It's from a company called E-Factor. It's just a bunch of bent aluminum rod. I could DIY it, but I found it at a Hamfest for $20, and I was like, hell yeah. So this larger C shape, actually it looks like a 3, but only the C is active, is for the lower 2 meter band. And then this little one is a loop for the 70 centimeter band. So you just feed it one run of coax. It's very clever. And they actually work very well. I like mine. I thought about playing with one of those T2FDs, as they call them. It's weird because they have a resistor in there, and you're like, no, resistors just dissipate power, and in this case, it does. But it's set up so that you're better off doing that than you are trying to shove RF through a very poor match. So these are really interesting. They're really good for like just if you have a shortwave radio and you want to pick stuff up, make it a T2FD and it won't have any like dead frequency bands. It'll work through the whole shortwave band pretty much if it's long enough. Really useful. There's all kinds of cool antennas out there. Groovy. Alright, hour 1 is done. Let me continue to celebrate 420 with my legal tobacco pipe. And then I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break. I'm going to take a little 3-minute break, and we'll come right back. We got a satellite coming up in just a few minutes. 20 minutes, or no, 13 minutes for FO29. Let's give this old girl a shot here. I'm excited. So, hang tight. We'll be back with hour 2 of the MATTYZCAST in just a couple minutes. Alrighty. Kind of paranoid these days, and I make sure that my door's locked ever since the attempted home invasion. Freaked me out a little bit. Fresh one. I drank all my pamplemousse, so it's peach pear. We have 10 minutes to go. My favorite personal stupid antenna, hang on, was when we were moving out of Arkansas for a month. I rented a 33-foot dumpster. I was sitting in the driveway there, and I was like, "That's a big piece of metal. I want to use it for an antenna." And I just like found a bolt on it and bolted the hot side of the coax to that, and then I just hammered like a 4-foot rebar into the ground on the side of the driveway and used that for ground. And yeah, made some contacts with dumpster antenna. Made for some great chats on air when I told the other ham what I was using for an antenna. Worked better than I expected, that's for damn sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. What's up? Good to see you, Quatch. Yeah, I got up at 5 a.m. for some fucked up reason, and I was like, well, can't go back to sleep. I'm going to just play birds. That's what I did. Or scatter. And then I played birds later on. I made like 6 or 7 satellite contacts so far today, not counting that one we did a few minutes ago. It's busy this morning. This guy, Patrick, down in Phoenix, was at a ham fest and giving demos, so he was on every satellite that he could see this morning. So I talked to him like four times on 4 different satellites. That was fun. Speaking of which, I need to figure out the emote situation. We need a Zcast emote. I'm going to get on that tomorrow, probably. I'm taking all suggestions, by the way. I wish just like my little Z logo down in the bottom right would look right. But I think it might look shitty on a black background. I don't know. I might play with it. Think so? Try to make it work? Maybe if I like put a glow around it or something, or a border, it'll pop out. I'll see what I can do. What other weird antennas are there? There's a contest once a year. It's the Bed Spring Challenge. And yeah, you got to use an old mattress bed spring as your antenna. See how far you can talk. It works. It's a big piece of metal. And then there's an actual designed type that's called the bed spring antenna that they use. This is for like radar in the 60s and shit. I've done gutters. I've done all sorts of weird antennas. It's so good. And then, I mean, arguably, Duga 3 was the largest bed spring antenna ever. Look at that beauty. Ah. Somebody put out an awesome video of them flying a nice drone with a camera all through the antennas on there. Like, you can see, and you zoom in, there's like all these dipole elements that are made out of like cages of pipe. And there's just hundreds of those things. And he was flying all through the rows and stuff. It was really cool. Yeah, this station really ticked off a lot of hams in the 80s and 70s. That's why we have noise blinkers on radios, actually. Well, that and ignition noise. But yeah, these would make just terrible RF that would shoot. Since it was like a Cold War radar thing, it was in Russia and then pointed at us here in the States, again over the pole. So yeah, they were basically just beaming shitloads of wideband RF towards us. I want to say that a time or two hams have gotten authorization to hook up to this, but if I recall, it's in the exclusion zone now. Yep. Yeah, the sweeps. Also, wave height radar. You'll hear that sweeping through big chunks of the shortwave bands too. Basically, they just shit RF out, and whenever a wave is exactly a half a wavelength tall, it will basically send a ping back. So by keeping track of what frequency they send at what second, and then seeing how far that ping back is delayed from when they sent that RF at that particular frequency, they can figure out, like this wave at this particular height is this many miles out in that direction. It's really neat. Radar is cool. Zug zug. Yeah. I need to get a good active antenna up, because like I have like verticals and long wires and stuff like that, but they don't have a nice even pattern, so sometimes I miss a lot of signals. I want to get one of those little active whips up on top of a pole somewhere and try that out for just shortwave listening, because I love just spinning through the bands, especially with these new radios, because I got the waterfall. That's super sick. Noticed a signal on my 6-meter radio. Is anything going on? No, it's completely dead. Must be a local. Alright, 3 minutes. We're only 8 degrees below the horizon. Go ahead and flip the radio back on. Oh yeah, I love SDR sticks. I've got several. I think we've played with them a couple times. I haven't pulled it out in a month or two. I should pull it back out, and it'd be fun to compare and see how the 7300 compares to one of those little SDR sticks, and like, I guess for that matter, how the 9700 compares too. Yeah. Oops. What are my FO29 frequencies? 145. Oh, that's right. This thing's 100 kilohertz wide. In theory, you could have 30 hams or 30 conversations at once. So at least 60 hams going. Yeah. So 435.8 to 435.9. I'm gonna fix that stupid text file. Okay. Alright, and I guess I gotta reload this. You gotta quit and restart that program to do anything. So, number 3. Park this one right there. Computer control. Switch to FO29. There we go. So now we're going to have to calibrate. Hopefully I can hear myself on this, because I had some bad offset settings in there. So I was off frequency and then I tuned it in, but it screwed everything up. So we're going to start over and we're going to see what's involved in getting me to sound normal. And then maybe we'll have time for a contact. Cool. It's up. Does this thing have a beacon? $435,795. Okay. Here we go. Probably be smart to, which way is this thing going? Oh, we gotta spin around. We gotta spin this thing all the way to like northwest here. So let's get that going. So that'll take us a minute. I didn't even think about that. After that's done, I'll put the automatic control on. Oh, it's already spun around. My sensor was just a little off. We good. So I'm gonna wait for this bearing to go below 0 degrees. Should start hearing the beacon if it's operational. Which, I mean, the satellite's operational. I don't know if that beacon is in particular. There it is. Okay. This is going over the west coast where there's a lot of hams, a lot of satellite hams. So let's see if we get lucky. Maybe I should turn the noise blinker on. God. Too many buttons sometimes. Alright, now we can start tracking automatically, because we're below 0 degrees here. So the rotator has a stop at north, dead north. So if you start tracking some of these satellites, they'll like come in at like 12 degrees and go down to 0, and then they'll go to like 359 degrees and keep going down, and they'll leave at like 270 or something like that. So at that moment where it goes from 0 degrees to 359, these things aren't that smart, and they have to spin all the way around. So if it crosses my 0 degree line on the pass, I just don't track it. I just start out at dead north. You know, I spin whatever way I'm going to need to go back from, and then I just leave it on dead north until they cross that line, and then I can track properly. So we're chasing it now. There we go. So this is going to max out at 50 degrees. So this thing's going to start spinning pretty fast. There's somebody. He's weak, but I heard him. Testing 1, 2. Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee Lima Victor. So I need to adjust my frequency up. Let's try that. Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee Lima Victor. A little bit more. Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee Lima Victor. See, I'm still low on pitch, so I need to go even lower. Because it reverses it. Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee Lima Victor. Kind of hard to nail it down there. KC4YLV. Still want to try to get this calibration sorted out. Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee Lima Victor. Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee Lima Victor. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play with that some more. Maybe I can get some values off the internet for how far off this thing is, because it was launched in '96. This is an old one. Dude.
Thanks a lot. I think I'm losing you now, so let me brief you, and I'll get this stuff out to you as soon as I can, over. Very good. 73, W5RKN. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and recalibrate on a better pass. I'm going to switch satellites now. XW2D above us. Oh yeah, it's coming straight up. That's a terrestrial noise source that constantly bothers this satellite. It sucks. Testing 1, 2. And try to fix that there. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2. Just a little bit lower. Should be close enough for government work. That's somebody actually operating Morse code, which you can do on these two. CQ satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor. CQ satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor. Thought I heard somebody in there, maybe. That's just some interference. CQ satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor. I guess I could kill my mic while I'm doing this, and you could just hear my voice just on the uplink, or on the downlink. Let's try that. Oh yeah, the rotator's gonna go crazy here. It's a 55-degree pass, so it's spinning real quick now. It's almost continuous. You can tell how close it is overhead by how fast it's Doppler tuning on the radio too. It's like 50 hertz a second. It's pretty healthy. Could not do that manually. I mean, you could, but it would suck. Somebody here in Denver testing. Oh, really?
CQ satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor.
Now I'm sounding good on there.
CQ satellite, CQXW2 Delta, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor, Delta Mike 79er. Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee, left at 60. Chitchat satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee, London, Victor. Chitchat satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee, London, Victor, Delta Fox 7
Yeah, that was a bust. That's okay though. You got to hear me on the bird, and I got my frequency dialed in pretty good there, and it'll save those settings for the next time, fortunately. So yeah, that's what's involved in dialing in the frequency on a transponder bird. So let's see, who's next? Now we gotta go to XW2C pass. Nice. 35 degrees max. Let's see what that one's doing. Coming from the south? Okay, yeah. Another west side here. Let's give this one a shot. So we'll track that, and it'll be up in just a few minutes. So, operate a little bit, chat a little bit, smoke a little bit. There's also all sorts of memorials and things going on here in Denver. 20 years since Columbine. They tried and failed to ruin 420. Anyways. Trying to think of some really badass birds. I can tell a story about AO40. Alpha Oscar 40 was a big satellite. This is back in the middle of the Cold War, right? Well, I guess towards the end, but yeah, it was right before like all the Russian instability and stuff like that. When we could still get high orbit launches. This bird had several transponders on it. It had a motor on it. Unfortunately, that blew up. And it fucked up the orbit. So, I think we talked about this last time when we were talking about orbits. But yeah, AO40. It was intended to do the classic Molniya whatever orbit. 68.3 degrees inclination at a certain orbital period means that it shows up in two spots in the sky and kind of hangs out there. But when they were deploying it, the thruster motor blew up and it ended up doing this thing. It was still useful though. President Peeps. How's it going? We're just in between satellite passes. But yeah, AO40 was huge. Look at that thing. Look at that big ass satellite. Those are the size of things we used to be able to launch. Not anymore. Space race is dead, yo. Well, it's getting privatized. Good to see you. Yeah, we're just kicking it. Should have a satellite come up over the horizon in just a little bit. It's over like Easter Island right now. We got, still got 9 minutes on that one. Wonder where XW2F is going to come from. Pretty much the same thing, like 1 minute later. Wow, those two are really close right now. They're probably only, yeah, like a few dozen miles apart right now. Their orbits have kind of gotten close. So, let's see what we got. That XW2B pass might be good. Let's see. See what we can squeeze in. That'll be right towards the end of 2 hours. We'll see how I feel there. Like I said, I woke up at 5 in the morning, so I'm pretty wiped out. I've been running off of coffee and trying to take care of myself and all that and eat properly, but I'm just off today. Me. Had fun this morning on the radio, but kind of took the wind out of my sails. And I tried to take a nap and failed at like noon. That kind of sucked. Yeah, we need a geosynchronous one. Badly. Big Bad SIL-2. It's parked over Central Africa, and that's the footprint of people that can use it anytime, day or night. It has four times more bandwidth than all the shortwave bands put together. So you could have like literally hundreds of conversations going. They're doing digital TV experiments. Like you can literally get like a direct TV size dish, aim it out your apartment window with the right gear and the right feed horn and stuff, and communicate with TV, high-speed data. There's so much bandwidth on this thing. Oh, you're right. We can also go to Brazil. But yeah, anywhere in Europe, like, you can even get it up in Finland and stuff like that. So yeah, you can talk Finland to South Africa on this thing, NP, and have your buddy from India and Brazil hop on too. Good stuff, good stuff. We don't have one in this hemisphere, and it makes me sad, because I would sell all my other radios except for the 9700, probably, and just set up a microwave station to talk on a geosynchronous satellite. That would be my fucking thing. Iceland, lol. Bitching about radio prices. Hams are notorious for buying a $1,000 radio in 1993 and then selling it in 2019 for like $925, and they're all, I know what I got. No lowballers. I've got the original box. I don't care about the box. It's nice to have, but I'm not paying you money for a box. So, yeah. Built by Mitsubishi, 26 East. Oh, interesting. So it's a commercial. Oh, okay. So this is a commercial TV satellite that they shoehorned a ham transponder into the corner of. That's dope. Yeah. Man, 817s have tanked in price. I saw one on the classifieds the other day for $350. Price has gone way down on those. I've got my little ICOM 703. It's not on right now, but that's my QRP rig. It rules. Even though it's the first edition, even though it says HF/50 megahertz on it, they didn't put 6 meters in this A version. Yeah, you gotta get the ICOM 703 Plus. But I got a good price on this, and it has like additional filters, and it has the like, you know, $120 DSP board and all that. And I don't know. I've thought about trading this to somebody like dead across and be like, here, you get a radio with an extra filter, and I get one that works 6 meters. That would be really nice. Because I can just like leave it on for a receiver and notice when the 6 meter band opens then. But yeah, I can't do it right now. Anyways. Yeah, so they have a narrowband transponder, which is 250 kilohertz. You use this for like voice conversations and slow speed data. I've got a 2-element beam at 20 feet, and I've got VUCC on 6 meters. I did that in 1 year. So that's 100 grids. And yeah, scatter all the time. In my first season, I got like 38 grids in 2 days just with a wired dipole on like a broomstick that I just put up on a pole like 15 feet above the RV. I was very impressed with that. And then yeah, they have a TV transponder. They can do 1 HD station or more stations with SD quality. How fun would that be? Yeah. We can do it. We just need to get one rich asshole to carve us out a chunk of a geosynchronous satellite going up, and we'll be good. Nice. Yeah, I gotta go hit mountaintops. I'm all rigged up. I got a little backpack set up that I built up, and I haven't actually used much out in the field. Alright. I think we got a bird because my rotator just clicked on. 145, 805, and 160. Looks about right. And again, we're going to need to calibrate. I'm going to go up. So you have 10 kilohertz on either side of center. So that's center for Doppler. Let's see where we are once this thing comes up.
XW2C rising.
I cut off satellite, but you can hear the little robot voice that announces it on my computer there. Alright, let's go for the beacon first, as always. Give me some good bird action. Oh, there it is. Good deal. All right. Test 1, 2. Oh yeah, I gotta kill my local mic. Yeah, most of them are basically sponsored by universities. So hopefully you can get a grant for 100,000 and throw up a CubeSat. That big geosynchronous one that we were looking at is basically on there because or it's up because like there were just some powerful hams in the organization that put the TV part of that satellite up, and they're like, hey, we're gonna put ham crap in this corner. So.
Whiskey Alpha 6 Alpha, Romeo Alpha, WA6ARA calling.
Want to make sure he's calling CQ and not talking to somebody.
Satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee, London, Victor, Delta Mike 79 are calling CQ. CQ Satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee, London, Victor, Delta Mike 79 are calling CQ Satellite. Satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee, London, Victor, Delta Mike 79, calling CQ Satellite. CQ Satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee, London, Victor, Delta Mike 79 are calling CQ Satellite. CQ Satellite, Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee, London, Victor, Delta Mike 79 calling CQ. California. So good to run into you. Number of people use this bird. I'm glad to copy you, Mike. You do have a good signal, K9 WA6ARA.
Okay, Mike. Well, real nice to meet you. I just happened to catch this pass. I was doing something, and I noticed that it was up, and I had to hurry up and get on here. I've only been on her since Monday on the satellite.
No problem. It takes a little while to get a hang of it, but you're doing okay, and I see that XW2F is right on its tail, so it's up now and probably right over
I used to be on the old AO13, AO12. In fact, I'm using a homebrew transmit converter back in the 80s, and it's running a 5 watts. Driving with a 7300, and I have a big old cross Yagi here, 42 CP from M Square.
Good setup. That's an excellent setup. Well, they work. Yeah, I've been on since RS 5, 7 days. Those were fun days.
They're definitely a lot more reg chewy on these satellites. There's a lot more space to stretch out and chat.
I never made it on AO13, unfortunately. I just never got a station up
For that, but you do have a good signal, and there's a lot of birds. I wish we had some higher altitude ones, but well, we'll take what we get. Back to you, Mike.
Sure. Yeah, well, these they're not too bad. I just, everything here is manual control, so I'm listening myself, of course, and trying to stay on frequency, but the Dopplers get me every once in a while.
No problem. My rotors aren't computer controlled, but my radios are manual controlled as well. And I just try to touch the higher frequency of the two, and it seems to work pretty good. Yeah, I'm using a Yaesu 857 going up and coming down a Elecraft KX3. So that's set up there. Go ahead.
Okay, QSL.
And then old 746 ball that I use for meteor scatter, another 2-meter work. And I'm using a 2M12 and 24 dBA LNA, so I'm mainly terrestrial of it.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. I am very tempted to start playing around with meteor scatter, and I've done a little bit on 6. I've done none on 2, and that's one of my next projects to undertake. Go ahead.
Okay, well, there's a peak, shower peak tomorrow on meteor scatter, and we hang out on 50.260 MSK 144. We have a chat page called PJ Client. You may look that up.
Okay, yeah.
Good old PJ client.
I will look that up. I can get on that. So that's
They both have good setups.
QSL. Boy, this bird's hanging in here really, really good.
Yeah, that looks like you're going to lose it here shortly. Let's see, I think I'm down. I'm getting pretty low, 6 degrees. You're probably about the same.
Yeah, probably. Let's see, I should lose the signal at 50, so it's going to go. Hey, nice meeting you, 7-3.
Okay, 73, Mike. Good to meet you. K9 BSW WA6 area.
Well, it's still there. Hey, a couple more seconds.
So, didn't self-monitor. There we go. So, didn't land any contacts there, but that was a nice little chit chat, and that's why I like these satellites better than like the single channel FM satellites, because the FM birds are just like call sign grid, thank you, call sign grid, QSL, just all these stations just going for like these 5-second contacts. Here you get to actually make some friends for like 10 minutes at a time, every 90 minutes. You get 3 chances in the morning and 3 chances in the evening. That's generally how the orbits end up. So, yeah, if you find a couple buddies and you work the same satellites, you can like chat for like, 10-15 minutes a day pretty regularly. So yeah, this is the stuff that I like a little bit more, because you get to make friends here. It's not just people that just want a contact from your grid square to win some award. So that's why I dig these satellites, and that's why I spent all that money on that radio, because it works these transponder satellites really, really well. So we have one more that I'm going to do, XW2B, 20-degree pass here, so let's get lined up. Again, these are all in a row, so they're just like 10-15 minutes apart. couple of them were 1 minute apart earlier, though. It was kind of a close call. It happens. So you gotta kind of pick one there. Like, there's not much point in working one and then trying to work the other, right? And these satellites are really interesting. I had my first contact on CAS 4A and CAS 4B this morning. Just check these orbits out. These are in inclined equatorial orbits, so they don't go over the poles. So this sine wave basically just shifts across the sky, and it goes like a couple hundred miles further to the east every time. So it doesn't work like much above like southern Germany and stuff. I guess it covers like Germany and stuff. So most of Europe can get it. Scandinavia can't work these. And then it tops out here. It like on a pass where I'm like right underneath the like farthest north point. You know, when that sine wave is going right above me here, it goes above like Montana, I think. So these never go really high or really low latitude. But they cross the same area more times a day. So you'll get like 5 or 6 good passes in a row from these two satellites. They're pretty cool. Yeah, there's the other one. They were again launched at the same time. So they're just a little bit out of phase. One of them's a little bit ahead of the other. That's an interesting orbit. A lot of people get mad when they launch those because they like live up in like, you know, Finland or British Columbia or something. And they don't get to work these more equatorial orbit satellites. But yeah, it's what else. Oh, you get some like water hammer resonance going on in your lines. That's wild. I can see it though. Alright, where were we though? XW2 Bravo. Let's go. I think I'm already calibrated on this one. Hopefully my voice will be pretty close and I won't have to do all that fuckery at the first 5 minutes of the pass to figure out what my offset is. Because they all drift a little bit at launch. Yeah, I believe it. No, cavitation is when you eat too much candy and they're like you get voids in your teeth. That's what you're thinking of, Beep. I don't want your shitty spyware. It's anti-spyware, but it's so annoying. Should just uninstall that. I'm never going to update it again. I just used it to scan a suspicious old hard drive that I had. Lol, if you install software that's not ancient ham radio software on your computer in the year of our Lord 2019. Psh. Alright. Starting to creep over Mexico. I guess I can go ahead and pre-spin the rotator so it doesn't have to do too much work. I'm gonna guess 214 degrees from my location. Sucking down LaCroix like there's no tomorrow. I mean, you got a vent pipe up there that technically does go to the sewer system. Just like impale the toilet on that and just go hog wild. Alright, we getting real close. These satellites are really fun because you can just like take an hour and just work like 4 or 5 of them right in a row. And then they generally come by again an hour and a half later. So you can have a fair amount of fun for like a 3-hour period. Then they do their polar orbit thing, but then you catch them on the backside going down. So yeah, like all in all, you can be on satellites just on these 5 XW satellites, like over 4 or 5 hours a day if you really want. Which is basically what my Saturday has been. I've just been playing radio all day. Hell yeah. Yeah, we should do that on an episode. That's a good call out. We haven't played with the NOAA weather satellites yet. That'll be a fun thing. I've got the registered WX to image software, so it'll do pretty decent copy. This radio, unfortunately, will not tune down, so I have to use another one of my rigs. I'll probably use my 746 up there. He's hanging out, and obviously I bumped the knob, because 146.529 is not a frequency. I mean, it is, but, you know. Now, it's abandonware, so people just freely circulate the registered version. Yeah. The dude, like, disappeared, won't honor license requests. So somebody said, well, if this doesn't bait them out, nothing will, and they just started giving their copy away. And, yeah. Three minutes to go. It's sneaking up on us. Here we go. Where I guess 214. It's currently at 211. Couple degrees of wiggle because it is pretty windy outside right now. I have an actual accelerometer up there, you know, instead of just a passive kind of indicator. So let's see if we can end out the stream on a high note here with a contact on XW2 Bravo. We want to go down 500 and 100 hertz, so it'll be a 600 hertz tone on that beacon, hopefully. Wait for the robot lady to tell us when to go, go, go. Keep the 420 going. Oh. There we go. Happy 420, everybody. We're spending it getting spaced. 200 degrees. I was 10 degrees off. Not bad. There's the beacon. Let's go up here real quick. Testing 1, 2. Microphone.
WA6ARA, here's Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor.
Kilo Charlie 4, Yankee London Victor, Whiskey Alpha 6 Alpha, Radio Alpha. Good evening. Name here is Mike. Mike India Kilo Echo here in Delta Mike 15. Delta Mike 15, how copy?
QSL, Mike. Great signal here. Great copy down in Denver. Delta Mike 79er. Name here is Matt. Mexico Alpha Tango Tango. Over.
Okay, fine business, Matt. Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of a dip here for a little bit. Hopefully the signal comes back up. Okay, fine business. Got you there in Delta Mike 79er. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it's a beautiful windy day out here in the desert of California, and I almost have an overhead pass. It's going to be pretty high, and glad to hear folks on the bird. Back to you, Matt.
Oh yeah, I'm just getting set up. This week I picked up the fancy new ICOM 9700. So that's the toy of the week. We've just been getting used to it, getting it all set up, cat controlled and hooked up to the software and all that, and then getting all my signals tuned in, because every satellite seems to have a little bit different offset, but we're getting things lined up here, and we've had a whole bunch of fun today, about 10 contacts or so, and they just keep coming. Over.
That is supposedly a T-rig. Great to have. Hi. A lot of people are waiting for theirs, and you're the first one I think I've actually worked. So it sounds absolutely excellent. Very good quality audio. Wow, sounds great. Yeah, I'm using what am I using here? An FT857 going up and coming down with a Aircraft KX3. So that's my setup at the moment. Fine business, man. Great signal sounding radio. I gotta tell you, great sounding radio. How about you?
Yeah, I copy that. I'd probably recommend don't play with one if you don't have the scratch to buy one, because you're going to fall in love with it right away. So I had a great time. I bought a 7300 to go alongside it last month. So I've got a shiny new decibel radios here, having a blast, and everybody's great on these satellites. Love the chitchat. It's a little bit slower paced and more casual than the hot and heavy FM birds. So I'm having a whole bunch of fun on the XW birds, the CAS birds, all on the motor.
Wow, signals to the big deep phase. Wow. Oh, that's because it's going overhead and the computer's a little on the confused side at the moment, trying to figure out which way to turn things. Okay, it looks like it's figuring it out finally. My fault. Okay, yeah, whoa. I'm getting really weird information from my computer right now as to which way things should be pointed. There, now still is coming back with bad data. I don't know what's going on here. It'll catch up here in a little bit. Maybe my signal will start improving. Back to you, Matt. Casey for YLPW6ARA.
Good copy that. I think lost you for just a bit as it went overhead for you there. So Yeah, it's a nice, let's see, just a 20-degree pass here. Not too high, so really easy to track, easy on the rotators. So, I'll go ahead and say 73 and wrap it up for the evening. So, thanks for the great contact, and I'm sure we'll be working again. So, 73 from Delta Mike 79er in Denver, WA6ARA. This is KC4YLB. Good evening.
Yeah, I'm just about ready to lose it again here. It's just going to swing around to the north. So, 73, thanks for the contact, and we'll look for another bird. Have a good one. KC4YLD, WA6ARA, 73.
73.
Well, I reckon that's a pretty good contact to have on there. You can tell I still have to tweak my transmit offset a little bit more on that one, but I was close enough that I could have a nice chit-chat with the fella. So hope you all enjoyed my chipmunk voice there. As sent, yeah, it's 1,000 miles round trip, 514 miles up. So yeah, I want to say that's like, let me see. 5.5 milliseconds of delay. So if you ever want the world's most expensive slapback echo on your guitar, run the audio through a low Earth orbit satellite. It'd be just what the doctor ordered. Oh, I was Barry White? Okay. He's manually tuning, I think. That was his natural voice right there. Yeah. Alright, cool. So I need to go. I'm going to just go ahead and, based on that, I'm going to tweak my uplink just another, 150 hertz. That'll be good. There you go. Yeah, let me test real quick, I guess. That's better, at least. But yeah, you could see like the little spike on the graph hunt around, because he how the manual operators work is they just park their downlink radio on one frequency, and then they just control their Doppler to chase that basically with their transmit radio. So every time he talked, you start out with a and you spin the dial and you wait for that to come into pitch. So yeah, that's incredibly hard to do. That's a lot of skill. I think he's got rotator control, so he doesn't have to turn his antennas, but he's got to tune his radios. So that's why it took him a second. And there's like a couple seconds of blather, and then you start talking, and that first couple seconds is when he's spinning his transmit radio's tuning knob to try to find himself, basically. Or I guess not find himself on the receive, but to move his transmit to where he's listening. So yeah, that's how that works manually. And I had to chase him a little bit because he'd always stop like 100 hertz short every time, which is why he stayed a little bit of chipmunk. Cool. Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Like I said, I've been up for 14 hours now. I'm tired. I'm gonna go watch the new episode of The Orville, which is a good show, by the way. And yeah, I think maybe tomorrow I'm going to put the elevation control on the rotator so we can unleash its full fury on these satellites, because it's already doing a great job, but these antennas are only tilted up a few degrees right now. So the higher passes where they hit like 40, 50 degrees, the max elevation, I'm kind of missing those center couple minutes of each pass. So thanks everybody for hanging out. We will return on schedule. Next up will be Tuesday. Can't give you the calendar today. It'll be on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That is Wednesday at 0100 UTC. If you don't know how to convert UTC to local time, find out between now and then, because in Radioland we live on GMT. So I'm Matty Zed. This is the MATTYZCAST. Be back in 74 hours, something like that. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. We're going to go have some more fun with this stuff and then crash out. Peace.